So yeah, again, let's get to the Odyssey.
Yes.
Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Homer's the not to be confused with Homer Simpson's The Odyssey, which they did do a version on The Simpsons, as you can imagine. To which, surprisingly, Anne Hathaway played the same character on that, and she won an Emmy for it.
Yep.
Which she's just fucking awesome than anything. But The Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Nolan he has that cachet where he's like, I want this much money for a budget on a film about history. And I want you to turn it into a summer blockbuster. And I want all the IMAX cameras. It's like, okay. He did that with Oppenheimer, where he's like, I want a summer blockbuster, $200-something million budget on a movie about the guy who made the atomic bomb. It's like,
and becomes a smashing success. And an Oscar one.
Won him his Oscar. Won him Best Director, Best Picture. Got Killian and Downey their Oscars. They won a bunch of other Oscars. So, spoiler alert: this movie will probably get nominated, and win some Oscars too. Yeah, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. The Odyssey is something that we've all it was pretty much required reading back when we were in high school. I read the book. I watched the movie, the Armand Assante movie, which was good. It was fun.
I mean, it's made for TV. It was good for the time.
But we haven't had an Odyssey thing in a while, if I'm not mistaken. So now you have Nolan doing it, which, as you can imagine, he's going to turn that shit into his vision. He's going to make it a Christopher Nolan movie, which means no CGI. Matter of fact, next to no CGI.
Which
a lot of practical. A lot of on-set location shooting, and that's what we got.
Beautiful.
The movie's already close to 3 hours, so we're gonna spend 3 hours spoiling this movie. I mean, obviously, we're not gonna go into it each scene by scene, but
right.
This movie lives up to the hype. To me, I really love this movie. Oppenheimer, I really liked Oppenheimer, and I love it. There are some things about it I wasn't crazy about, but I respected it. This movie I love a lot more than Oppenheimer. And this is easily, to me, Nolan's best work in a while, since I would say Inception.
Okay.
I haven't seen Dunkirk. I actually bought Dunkirk on DVD. I'm going to watch it. I haven't seen Insomnia. And I didn't see his first movie. His first movie was called Following, which I haven't seen that. So I want to watch.
That's the one I haven't seen, yeah.
Yeah, I want to watch 3 of those just so I can do a ranking or whatever. But this is easily his best work in a while. I would put that in his top 5 of best movies. I don't think it's going to beat The Dark Knight. Well, to me, maybe neck and neck with Prestige, because I love Prestige. That's such an amazing movie. Maybe slightly better than Memento. And then a little bit better than Batman Begins. But so I would say it's an easy 3. It's a solid 3 as far as his 3 best movies. But The Odyssey, Nolan's The Odyssey, starring
so many people, and then there was more people. I was like, I didn't know they were in this movie.
Which is becoming a new Nolan trend, which is beginning with Oppenheimer, where it's I want this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. And then I want you in my movie. Which it kind of goes to show how much people love and respect Nolan, to where they're like, listen, I don't care if I'm in the movie for 10 seconds. I just want to be in the movie because it's fucking Nolan.
Yep.
Because Florence Pugh, she was in Oppenheimer, and her team actually were like, are you sure you want to be in this movie? It's for a really small part, a really small part. And she's like, it's Nolan.
Yeah.
It's Christopher Nolan. So this was the same thing with this movie, where you got a lot of A-list and recognizable actors that there was a point where I forgot who was in it, where I'm like, hey, it's him. Hey, it's him. Hey, it's him. Hey.
I was like, oh.
And it was just a lot of hey. It was a lot of recognizable faces that, again, if I'm in Hollywood and I'm a working actor and Christopher Nolan's I want you to be in my movie, it's I'm not going to say no. Fuck that. I'm not. I'm gonna be in it, even if it's like to just like wave to the camera. I'm gonna be in it. It's Christopher Nolan. But yeah, I mean, the story is kind of what we know. It's the story of Odysseus who's trying to get home.
Yep.
After the battle of Troy, he's been gone for a while, 8 years, and while that's happening, he's got pretty much like looters and bums in his house.
Yep.
With his wife Penelope and his son. And let me pull up the cast because I'm gonna forget some names real quick. But yeah, you got his wife who's played by Anne Hathaway, who's amazing.
Yeah, she's
just amazing and everything. Like when I'm watching the movie, I'm like, is my Anne Hathaway crush coming back?
I never went away.
And then like the scene where she's yelling at Tom Holland, I'm like,
I was like, ooh.
I'm like, I got a bone. I don't know, but she would. Yeah, she's Penelope. Tom Holland is Telemachus.
Telemachus.
Of course, Matt Damon's Odysseus. Robert Pattinson is Antinous.
Dickhead. We'll call him Dickhead.
He is such a fucking weasel, and I love him.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I want to punch Batman in the face.
He is just like, again, he's one of those actors that like he got his Twilight money. He's like, I want to do other things, and he wanted to do other things. Like he loves playing against type roles. He was in Good Time, which Draper turned me on to that. That's actually what got him the role of Batman.
Yep,
is that role. He did a few other movies, which I'm trying to remember. Oh, the Devil All the Time on Netflix with Tom Holland.
Yep.
Where he's in that blue leisure suit and he's just doing that over the top Southern accent.
Yes.
which he actually refused a dialect coach. He wanted to do the accent on his own, and it worked.
Yep. And you could tell.
And then this year, the drama, which was great. It's in my top 5, top 10.
I still need to watch it.
Oh, you need to watch it, dude. It's amazing. And then Zendaya, of course, is in that because Zendaya is awesome. She's Athena. Again, pretty much everybody. Benny Safdie is Agamemnon, who looks like a fucking beast.
Yeah.
Elliot Page. Well, I'll get to Elliot Page in a bit because that's another part of the.
Yeah, we got a lot to discuss with that.
Travis Scott randomly comes out in the beginning, and he's a poet.
Yeah, and again, we'll get to because I'm a little angry about all this fake outrage for shit because Travis Scott was in the movie for what? Total of 2 to 3 minutes? Total?
Not even minutes. He was in there for like maybe 40 seconds.
Yeah. He had 2 small speeches. 2.
Yeah, it was just him being a poet. John Bernthal, who didn't want to tell us something, was Menelaus Mia Goth was, I can't pronounce these names. I'm sorry. Melantho, Himish Patel was Yuri Locust. If I'm just announcing all the actors that are in this film, I'm going to be here all day. But
it's just, there's a plethora.
So let me just put it this way: the leads were great, but Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, Tom Holland, Pattinson, we expect them to be great. I mean, I would say this is maybe Tom Holland's best work outside of the MCU.
Yep.
He did a great job at this.
Yeah, I would say this is probably his best role. I know he had that movie when he was 14 that's really good and depressing.
Ooh, that was so good. Floored me.
Yep.
Unstoppable,
yes. Such a good fucking movie.
Yeah, that was his first role. Or actually, that was one of his roles before Spider-Man, and to be honest, I think he was more Spider-Man in that movie.
Yes.
Than in the MCU films. But no, continue.
No, I was just sorry I got off tangent there. We're talking about the lead actors being good, and they were really good.
Yeah, and then Matt Damon's always great. Like Matt Damon's, I guess, trying to be the modern day Tom Hanks, where he's just in everything and he's just like a diverse actor. Matt Damon's become one of those guys in the past like 10, 12 years where I just look forward to anything he's in because he's just a great actor. Yeah. Anne Hathaway's great in everything. she's always been great. She always brings it in these roles, like especially the dramatic scenes.
Yep.
You know, she really fucking brings it. She has I think she has an Oscar, right?
Yeah, she got it for what was it? It was the musical that turned Les Mis. Did you get?
Les Mis. There you go.
Yep.
And then I mentioned Tom Holland, of course. Pattinson is just a fucking dickhead that you just want to fucking squeeze him around his fucking dumb pencil neck.
Yes.
But he's so good. He's so fucking good. Such a weasel.
Yes.
But to me, the supporting actors are what really carry this film.
Yeah.
And it helps that you have like literally everybody in this fucking film. It's almost like watching like a super team in like the NBA.
Yeah.
Where it's like, here's our stars, but here's our supporting players.
Yeah, and everybody who played their part really good.
John Leguizamo, he was the scene stealer.
Yeah.
Like I mean, if you can look past what he does with puppies in the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
Which they made it quick, but it was just so random where he's like and then Matt just stops him and goes, "No, we're not doing it anymore. Just give me that dog."
Yeah.
And I like the fact that they asked him about it. And he's like, "I don't know how I'm going to come back from that." But John Leguizamo was great in the movie. He was a scene stealer. He was Eumaeus, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. He was basically the guy that trained Odysseus. You know, he was a father figure to him, and then he trained his son. So he would, and then eventually he went blind, but he was the guy that was always looking out for Odysseus and his family. He had no fear. He always stood up to everybody. He stood up to the fucking dickheads in the castle. One of them being Corey Hawkins, who, again, Dr. Dre and Straight Outta Compton. He's been a few other things. He's a good actor. Fuck, he's such a fucking cunt in this movie.
And again, he's not in this movie a lot, but when he is, he makes his presence known.
Like the way he's treating the dog. And again, people, let me just put this out there. This might be a controversial statement. There's scenes where a dog is being abused, and granted, the way they shoot it is like they're not trying to be excessive about it.
Yeah, it's more of applied. Like you're hearing sounds, you're seeing some body movement, but you're not actually seeing it.
Yeah, and like you just hear, of like kicking a dog, and whenever they cut to it, you just see like the foot barely hitting the dog.
Oh, that made me so mad.
I was mad too, and like Corey Hawkins was just such a fucking dick. And I'm like, I want this guy to get his fucking eyeballs ripped out. And
he gets justified justice.
My God, you fucking cunt. And then Pattinson just like throws the dog out. He's like, no more dogs in here. I'm like, and then they keep cutting to the dog. I'm like, stop cutting to the dog. I'm worried about the dog. But let me just say it like this. I think that's something we kind of have to be more used to in movies, because if we're going to be about, I don't want to see animals get hurt, or I don't want to see SA scenes in movies, it's like, okay, we kind of have to make peace with this is fake.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't really happening. Like, like I was going to, John Leguizamo tossing the puppy. He's like, obviously we're not hurting the dogs. Like, there was actually a nice little blanket on the side to where when I threw the puppy, it landed safely. So, and obviously they're not hurting the dog. And like I mentioned earlier, they shot it where like most of the time it was implied, and then you would just hear sound. So I'm pretty sure the actors on the set were like, oh, I don't want to do this, but sure. And Nolan's also a big dog lover from what I heard too. So I'm pretty sure for him it was tough, but they had to like really show you like the dark and grimy look of that time.
Yep.
Which was, it wasn't pretty. This isn't made for. Go ahead.
No. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was going to say that's Nolan talked about. That was one thing he was hesitant on making this movie, because he knew how important the connection was for Odysseus and his dog, and he just knew, he's like, man, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to shoot these scenes, and I love dogs, and I just don't know if I can do that. So I'm glad he did, because it made a beautiful and heartbreaking arc in the movie.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. I don't want to cut ahead, but man, tears when that happened.
Oh, I literally went like this. I went.
All that means is that our doggy got extra hugs and kisses. Oh my god!
Yes.
And she's like, "Ooh, like what's the special occasion?" But yeah, Corey Hawkins was great at just being a cunt, and he wasn't in it long. Hamish Patel, I thought he was really good.
Yes.
As Yuri Locus, who was basically Odysseus's right hand man.
Yep.
And I'm trying to think of anything I've seen him in.
He has a. I want to say I've seen him in something. I'm drawing a blank. Wait, was he the sleep scientist in Inception?
Let me look that up real quick. Oh, yep. Wait, was it? Was it Inception? Okay, now I'm confusing myself. He was. No, he wasn't. He was in Tenet.
Oh, Tenet. Okay.
And he's been in a lot of TV shows. So yeah, I can't really think of anything I've seen. I've seen his. It's one of those things that like I've seen his face. I just can't really think of anything I've seen him personally. But he was really, really good. Like he had a lot of presence about him.
Yeah. And funny thing is Chris Nolan's wife, who's also producer of his movies, hand delivered the script to him. Traveled, went to him in person, and is like, "Here, he wants you to be in this." And he was floored. He's like, "What?"
I mean, Pattinson still wanted to read the script because everybody just signed on without reading a script. He's like, "I still want to read the script," and no one's like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yeah, I still want to read the script." So, yeah, he was good in the scenes with Matt Damon because he challenged Matt Damon. And the one thing they did great with Odysseus was that they really painted him as like he was a dick.
Mm-hmm.
Like he wasn't this like amazing war hero. And that's another thing that they showed that they did a great job with this was that they really painted war as like it wasn't propaganda. Like it was like, no, war is fucking terrible. Like,
and there's consequences to that.
Like this scene in the Battle of Troy where like all this shit's happening and there's like people that are dying that shouldn't have even had to die. And the whole time Odysseus is like, did I make the right decision?
Yeah.
You know, like there's a scene with a certain character, you know, or I'll just say Athena, who in the whole movie she's following Odysseus, but only he can see her. And you're not sure why, and you find out why. That it's his conscience for like he has a guilty conscience for allowing her and her people to die. And like she's like being held by two guys in front of her, and she's like, please don't kill me, please don't kill me. And she just gets her head chopped off. Obviously, you don't see it.
Right.
Because aren't going to show Zendaya's head getting chopped off. But and of course Zendaya is good and everything.
Yep. So same thing. Very limited time, but her presence was felt.
Other you know, and you know, Ryan Hurst, who was the mentor. They just call him mentor.
I know, that's why I saw. I was like, oh shit, is that fucking Ryan Hurst? Because I had no idea he was in the movie.
I didn't know either. And then again, that's where I began my hey. And, you know, he was training Tom Holland's character, and he was with him through thick and thin, and then in the end he got killed. But you know, he got some time. John Bernthal, who you know was Menelaus, who was with Odysseus, like he traveled with him, and there was that great dialogue where he's explaining the story of Odysseus to his son. And I mean, John Bernthal was good. I mean, my problem with that is the same problem I had with Charlize Theron, where it's like all I saw was them. I didn't see the character. You know, like John Bernthal is obviously great in everything I see him in, but I feel like I saw more John Bernthal in this movie than the character he was playing.
Right.
You know, it's not to say he did a bad job. It's just he didn't really. I didn't leave the theater going, "Hey, remember that John Bernthal scene?"
Right.
You know, I mean, I was jokingly
I
being
definitely
like, "Let me tell you something."
I definitely got shades of Shane. That's the first thing I thought when I heard him talking. I was like, he sounds a lot like he's trying to be like an excessive Shane.
You can't protect him, Odysseus.
Yes. Put me in the goddamn horse.
Open the goddamn barn. That girl is dead. But I mean, he was fine. Again, he was fine. Again, same thing as Charlize Theron. She was fine, but she didn't.
Calypso.
All I saw was Charlize Theron. And that was kind of another thing with her character where it's just like, what exactly is going on here? Like, are you trying to fool him into staying? Are you actually looking out for him? Like, they didn't really address that too much. And if I had any criticisms, it was probably that. But
I think,
my criticisms are very minuscule.
yeah, I think they flushed it out a little bit when she finally, in that final part where she's like, today you're going to remember the rest of the story. And when he realizes like, hey, I have a wife, he's like, why did you do this? I think in the beginning when she kept feeding him the what kind of, not lilac, but or was it lilac?
I
The
think I believe it
leaves.
was like, yeah.
She wanted him to stay. Like she said, like, yeah, I was falling for you, but I realized even though your mind was here, your body was here, your heart was someplace else, and I knew I was never going to get your heart. Um, so I think they did flesh out a little bit without overtelling us. But yeah,
Sure.
same thing. I was like, she was good. It wasn't nothing like, for plain Calypso. Which that's one thing too. I kind of liked is Nolan making the gods more human-esque, and the way he explained it was these gods were around, according to the lore, these gods were around all the time. So the Greeks, the Romans, they would see these people, or they would see these gods as, even though they were gods, they were very human-like and had human characteristics.
Right. And that's kind of another thing that people bitched about, and I didn't really care, was like, I guess the modern day monologue. Like, it wasn't anything over the top where like Odysseus was like, cap on that, Hermes or whatever the fuck. Like, no, they just kind of kept it, a little bit more modern, to which Nolan was like, look, I have a feeling it's going to bite me in the ass, but that's kind of how I want to keep it. And also when they had to get poetic, they got poetic. Like, it's one of those things of like, damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, you'd always have people use British accents, and it's like, why are you British? It doesn't make sense for you to speak in a British accent. So I mean, the modern language didn't really bother me. The only times I kind of got thrown off by it was when Tom Holland would refer to Odysseus as dad.
It's dad. I know. I was like, dad? I was like,
and then mom. I'm like,
wouldn't that be more like mother or father?
I mean, wouldn't that make more sense? Because, like, again, I don't know if they called their parents dad and mom back in the day. Like, I obviously don't. But that was kind of those things where I'm just like, it didn't bother me. But I just kind of went, well, why do you call him dad? Just call him father. You know what I mean? But it's just, again, just little minuscule problems. And then Mia Goth was in it, and she was this, I guess, the servant woman, and
tiny role.
You found out that she was really, hooking up with Pattinson on the side, and then she kind of got hers in the end, where Anne Hathaway was like, "You can stay down here," and then closes the door on her. I'm like, "Yeah, get him, Anne Hathaway. Love you so much."
Which I think Mia Goth's another role where she was just like, "Hey, you want to be in a Chris Nolan movie for about 3 to 5 minutes?" And she was probably like, "Fuck yeah, I do," and that's why she took the part.
Let me ask you something, because a lot of people, I've heard some people kind of complaining about this, where it's like you have so many like glorified cameos, as they call it in this film. Like, how do you feel about that? Does it kind of bother you when there's so many recognizable faces, or would you prefer if like you keep the leads and then you keep like the supporting characters more like fresh faces?
When it's as long as it doesn't take away from the leads, when it's like, especially since I know it's coming from Nolan, and Nolan's for a while, as like we've talked about, considerably large cast, and he's going to put people he wants to put in there just because that's just him. So as long as it doesn't take away again from the leads, from the story, if they're not in it and being distracted, like all these people, like besides Matt Damon, Pattinson, the Holland, the Anne Hathaway, I'll even throw Leguizamo in there. He had a pretty decent role. Everybody else's, and Patel, I would throw in there too. Everybody else's role was pretty small because it's such a massive movie. We're talking a 3-hour movie with a lot going on, where you kind of have two storylines coming together like that. So no, as long as not egregious to be egregious and it's off-putting, I don't mind it. So like seeing this, seeing Oppenheimer and all the cameos, it doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me either. I would personally like if more fresh faces got involved. Because I've been saying this for a while. It's just like I would like if more fresh faces, more unknown actors would get more chances in Hollywood.
Gotcha.
Kind of going with like the Pedro Pascal thing as Reed, where it's like I like Pedro, but it's like I see him all the time.
Right.
That like Pedro fatigue is a real thing. We need people that we haven't seen like a million times. So this doesn't necessarily bother me because like they added to the story, and like you said, it wasn't like egregious, glorified cameos. They were given stuff to do when by the time they were done, they were done. So I mean, I thought it was fine. It didn't really bother me the way most people seem to be bothered by. Speaking of something people were bothered by.
Oh yes, here we go.
So two notable actors who are in two notable roles. So Lupita Nyong'o, she plays Helen of Troy, and Elliot Page plays the character of Sinon, which originally there was an internet rumor that he was going to be Achilles, which of course people bitched about it. I was more confused about it, and not for the reasons that a certain red pill corner of the internet is. I was more confused. I'm like, that's a very small actor to play that role.
Yeah.
When I think of Achilles, I think of like someone who's kind of a badass, very statuesque looking individual. I mean, I have the same reaction. They're like, and playing the role of Achilles is Kevin Hart. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Oh my god! Say it with your chest.
Hey, yo, Odyssey. I'm not gonna do the Kevin Hart accent. I'm sorry, but I mean, it's like, okay, Nolan maybe can make it work, but it's still a very small actor. But no, Elliot Page is Sinon, and then Helena Troy is, or I'm sorry, Lupita Nyong'o is Helena Troy, and both are very good actresses. Well, one's a good actress, one's a good actor. Let me just leave it at that. And obviously, Lupita Nyong'o is a great actor. She's proven herself. She has an Oscar. She did great stuff. Like, I didn't like Us all that much, but I liked her, and she should have got an Oscar nomination for that. And listen, the character is not called White Helen of Troy. It's called Helen of Troy.
Yes, and I also want to point something out. Helen of Troy isn't a real fucking person. Never was. Ah!
Oh, I just want to show the clip of Ben Affleck from Jay and Silent Bob going, fictional characters. Fictional characters. Do you understand me at all? These aren't real characters, people. I'm sorry. None of this shit ever happened.
Nope.
Zeus wasn't real. Odysseus wasn't real. Jesus. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. But we hit real bites to support the views of Druyari and any of its affiliates.
Sorry, lost my shit right there.
So I'm sorry. I kind of steered off. I was driving in a straight line. All of a sudden, I just went.
And the other thing too is her role in this movie is so small. She had like 5 or 6 lines total. And the most important one is the one where Tom Holland's leaving to try to get back to back home, and she's like, "Tell your mother I'm sorry."
Yeah, and Elliot Page, like he came out in the beginning, spoilers, like, and he was killed, which I'm like, that was awfully quick. And then it gets to the scene in Hades where he comes out and he's basically just like to Odysseus, like, you knew what was going to happen. You left me there to die. And, and again, both characters, like, they're literally in the movie for like a combined total of like 7-8 minutes. So it's not like they're in there that long. And I don't know, just people want to bitch. People want to bitch for the sake of being bitching.
Yeah.
And I just
go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, I just got lost in the characters. I thought the characters were fine. They weren't in it that long. And again, just people want to complain and also another thing that they were pointing out with Lupita Nyong'o, where some idiots were like, but she's not pretty enough. I'm like, you fucking cock. You cocksucker. You're telling me that Lupita Nyong'o isn't pretty?
Bullshit.
I'm gonna be that guy. I want to see the girls you're talking to.
Right.
Show me your girlfriend. Show me your wife. Fuck you. Lupita Nyong'o's fucking gorgeous. She's awesome. So fuck all of you. Fuck you with a giant cock. 2 giant cocks, actually. So again, they weren't in the movie that long, and it didn't really matter. It didn't matter. It didn't matter to serve the point that the small corner of the internet was getting mad about. So
fake outrage just to try to sink a movie, and guess what? You fucking failed.
Bitches.
Yes.
And then spoiler alert: this movie made bank on opening weekend. So if we were making money before, which we hadn't, we're not going to make money on this episode.
No! Censor.
Beep, beep, beep. It's just going to be somebody with a giant black mark over there going beep, beep, beep.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of the that's the controversy, but not really controversy of the film. But yeah, the rest of the film, again, just if you want to choose from everything, it's a Nolan film, so it's like, yeah, the cinematography was great. Yeah, we knew that. We kind of figured that it's a Nolan film. You know, the score was great. Yeah, we knew that. You know, the editing was great. We kind of knew that.
Yep.
I mean, the same person for this movie or the editor for this movie was for Oppenheimer, and she won an Oscar.
Yep.
So again, Nolan's going to get nominations out the wazoo for this film.
Yeah, I'm going to say this is easily going to get 10 to 12 nominations.
This is probably going to either tie or break Sinners' record for most nominations.
Yep.
Because obviously Nolan's getting director. He might even get writer for adapted screenplay, best picture, best actor. Matt Damon's getting a nom. Hathaway is obviously getting a nom.
Yeah.
Can't really. I mean, I don't think of. I can't really think of other actors that could get nominated. I mean, if I had to pick, I would say maybe Pattinson could get a best supporting nomination, but I don't even see that.
I would say that, and say even though Holland was good, I don't know if he's good enough to get a nom for it because he was great in his role, but it wasn't anything that was. I mean, Pattinson easy because he played such a good fucking dick in this movie.
Leguizamo, I would, if I had to wave a magic wand, I'd give him a nom because he was good. Editing, score, cinematography, which again, Ludwig Göransson is on this film. Again, another guy who's wins an Oscar for every film he's in. Oppenheimer, Black Panther, Sinners. So he's kind of the golden boy for score, which actually, you know, fun fact about this movie was Nolan told him to not do the score the way you usually do with like modern technology. Just use like drums and like stuff that kind of fit the time back in the day, and it paid off. But yeah, just everything in this movie worked.
I gotta prop somebody because no, she wasn't in the movie long. She was fucking impactful, and the scenes she was in, I'm gonna be thinking about for a while. We gotta talk about Samantha Morton.
Cersei.
Yes.
Yeah, again, just Nolan says he wants to do a horror movie, and we already saw it in this. We saw it twice, actually 3 times if you're counting the siren scene.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was Cersei, and they pretty much get to her island. But the rest of the team, they go to her house while Matt Damon's like, I'm gonna find food for us.
Yeah.
And you can kind of tell something's happening because they play that ominous music while they're eating in her home. They're just eating like this slop. They're just eating it gross. Really fast. I'm like, And the whole time she's just like talking shit, and all of a sudden she just starts molding everybody into pigs. And the way they do it is just so fucking impressive because
all practical.
What was that?
All practical.
I don't doubt it. It's Nolan. And that's what kind of worries me about him doing a horror film. Because, like, what if he actually wants to conjure evil spirits?
and the thing is, if he's so practical too, I mean, I could just imagine the type of violence he would put in a movie.
God, again, just the practical scenes in the scene. I'm like, I'm only thinking about that for a month now.
Yeah, the transformation that you see her just the hand down the gullet of the mouth. Ugh.
Like, if I could interview anyone, I'd interview Nolan. Where I'm like, how did you do that? How did you edit that scene? Well,
This is where I want to get it on Steelbook. I want to see the behind the features because I want to see the tricks with that. I want to see the tricks with. I've already seen a few pics of the Cyclops, which was another great, fantastic scene. Um, so I just the practical effects in this
but
movie are so fucking well done. But not to digress, yeah, Samantha Morton in the about 10 minutes she's in this is just great.
and to me, I'm like, she's telling him put your weapons outside, and you see armor. I'm like, if I see all that armor outside, I'm running.
Exactly.
I'm getting the fuck out of there. I don't care. I don't care how hungry I am. And then you cut to Matt Damon. He shoots what he thinks is a deer, but it's really a guy. And he's
Yep.
like, "Oh shit!" And he just runs up to go find them, and they're all pigs. And he somehow convinces her to turn them back into humans. It's that was just an amazing scene. Like that was. Would you even call that body horror?
I was gonna say, I was like, that was for what we saw, that was definitely especially when she's molding the freaking faces and the body, like when she's like the contorting the eye and the nose into the pig faces. That's body horror, man. That was some twisted shit.
Yeah, and then you mentioned the Cyclops scene, which that was just claustrophobic because they're trapped in there with him, and you see all the sheep going in there, and he's protecting the sheep, and then the Cyclops comes in, and there's just that good shot of just like him being in the dark, and then he just starts grabbing people and eating them. And again, I'm like, how did they shoot that? Because obviously, I know like there would be scenes where like they would shoot with the actual actors, and then you just see like a dummy, and then you get to the actor playing the Cyclops. I'm like, how did you edit that? I again like that's where the film nerd comes out of me, where I'm like, I want to like, how'd you edit that? Like, how'd you do that? Like, that is so fucking good and so fucking scary,
Right.
and that just makes me even more hyped for a Christopher Nolan horror film.
Yep.
You know, Christopher Nolan remakes The Thing.
Oh, oh, my God, that would be fantastic. You want to talk
He
about
just
claustrophobic?
it's like The Thing starring everybody. Matt Damon plays McCready. Sterling K. Brown plays whoever Keith David was. Uh, I don't know. I want it. I want a Nolan horror film. But
Yes,
my personal favorite scene was the sirens because
that was
you can
heartbreaking
just
too.
where they're like, we got to travel through there, but how are we gonna travel there without getting fucked up? We'll put wax in our ears. But Matt Damon's like, I want to listen to it though, and just I like the editing of the song where all of a sudden it's almost like you're hearing from the perspective of Hamish's character, and you just see Matt Damon tied up to the post, and he's just screaming in agony. And the whole time, his guy's like, like, did I
What's
do the
going
right
on?
thing? And Matt Damon's like, they're asking Matt Damon, what or Odysseus, what'd you hear? He's like, I heard everything about my life. I saw everything about my life. I saw the things I didn't do, all the mistakes I made. And I'm like, if he gets his Oscar, right there,
Yep.
that's your Oscar right there. Like that was good. That was so damn good. Um, and again, it was also kind of like a horror scene of just like, what is he fucking thinking about? Like
Exactly.
he's telling us, but what is he actually thinking? Like that's what I want to see. Um, and again, just the rest of the movie. What was that like the Kraken scene?
Oh yeah, where you basically had two monsters. You had the one that was in the whirlpool. They didn't really address, but it's in the book. So basically, in that giant whirlpool, there's like a giant monster mouth. So if you go in it, it's going to suck you in and you die. So as Odysseus discusses, he's like, I knew we were gonna. If I said, "Hey, let's go this way," you do the opposite. If we go in that whirlpool, I knew we are all gonna die. So I threw you guys for a loop. I said, "Hey, let's slingshot off the whirlpool." And you're like, "No, we'll go down this narrow valley." And then that's when like the mountain, I forgot. I don't want to say Silas, but it's another. It's basically like a rock dragon creature. Is fucking grabbing men when they're going through the alley.
All right.
Not
I mean, it
alley,
happened
but
really quick, so I didn't. It happened like so fucking quick, so I didn't get a chance to see it. So when I see it again, I need to pay attention. And just everything else, Odysseus finds his way back to
yep.
to Ithaca, but he realizes, shit's not the way it used to be. Because then Pattinson's just like, kill them all, like burn them all, and they fucking kill old boy's dogs. They kill his guys and they kill his dogs, and he has to like burn them alive. And then Odysseus comes back, and originally he's disguising himself. He's like, I'm not really Odysseus. I'm a friend of Odysseus, but Odysseus still lives. And just the scene where like he finds Tom Holland's character in that temple, and he just like murks everyone there, which is like so fucking badass.
Yes.
That's it. Oh my god, that's Jason Bourne. And just Tom Holland's just like, who are you? Like, did you know my dad? And no, I was a friend of your dad, but he lives. And so he tells, and I want to make sure I'm getting the character's name right. He tells Telemachus, like, listen, tell your mom to do this. This is what's gonna happen. So he tells his mom, and then there's that great scene of like Anne Hathaway just like yelling at Tom Holland to again, which I'm like, A, I'm turned on. And then B, Oscar. There's your Oscar right there. So then it cuts down to the most emotional part of the movie, which is Odysseus finding the dog on the ground.
I'm
going to get choked up saying this. And he's like, touching him. And then I just hear my wife say next to me, he waited for him. I'm like, oh, fuck you. And these motherfuckers already, please.
Yeah, it's just, I was like breathing out my mouth. And I'm sitting there, man, dogs love, man. And you just see the tail. And then the tail just.
I'm crying right now. Fuck.
It was. That scene alone could get Matt Damon the Oscar right there. Because such a touching freaking moment. It's like, yeah, the dog freaking waited past his prime to make sure his master made it back.
Dogs are loyal, people.
And the first thing I thought of too is I heard a little voice that, little Gwyneth Paltrow, you can rest now. And I was there, I was like,
Joe, I love you, but fuck you for saying that.
I know. That's one of the first things I thought. I was like, when I said, I was like, you can rest now, because I saw the tail just stop. I was like,
oh my god, god damn it! And then he says, "I'm going to bury you at the top of the mountain," and then it cuts to Tom Holland going, "Where you first met." And so that was the reveal. I'm like, oh my god, this is so fucking good.
Yep,
I love it. And he's like, "You're Odysseus." No, I'm not. I'm not Odysseus. And it cuts to again the climax of the movie, which is so fucking intense and good. And I like how they kind of gave you a fake out, and they didn't make it like a traditional, I guess, like obvious reveal, because it gets to Odysseus confronting Pattinson, to where it's like, are we getting the big reveal? And then they just kind of keep it at that. They kind of keep it at bay, and Telemachus is like, no, like we're not going to beat up any like visitors that come into this home. Like everyone's welcome here. And then Penelope wants to speak to him. So there's that great shot of him sitting outside Penelope's room, and she's talking to him, and he's just explaining the story of the Battle of Troy. And it's just such a good fucking, again, good dialogue, good acting.
Yes, great.
Where like, Odysseus is just like, listen, I fucked up and I made mistakes, and I hurt people along the way. I'm no hero. That's the one thing he had to make peace with, is that he's not a hero. And that's how Athena's ghost went away, was that he had to finally realize that he's not a hero.
Yeah, and there's that big reveal, because throughout the movie they hint at, we got new threats coming, the people of the sea. They come in, they don't follow the law of Zeus. They just murder and pillage. And so when Odysseus is doing this beautiful, heartbreaking monologue to Penelope saying, I realize when we devastated Troy that we broke Zeus's heart, basically, and things were never going to be the same.
Right.
And then Penelope's just like, "You're the people of the sea," and he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Places are going to crumble, things are going to change because of what I did, one idea." And it's and same thing. And then you see like he sticks his hand out, and you see Athena like reaching out to saying, "You found your peace. You've come to your realization. Um, thank you." And then she goes away, and yeah, take it from there.
And there's also that good moment of like the servant like washing his feet, and then she realizes that's Odysseus, and he goes,
No,
like,
not yet.
I'll go get another cloth. So then you get to the competition where they set up all these like axes, and then Athena goes, if anyone can master Odysseus's bow and shoot an arrow through these, they'll pretty much have my hand in marriage. And nobody can do it. Like, and that was kind of my first question, because I guess I'm not privy to the lore. I'm like, why couldn't they just bend it the way Odysseus was doing? And then, Betty was like, my wife, she was explaining it to me, where she's like, well, it's blessed by such and such, so only he can do it.
Yep.
And so I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And so everybody's doing it, and they can't. And then it gets to Pattinson. He's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm good. Like, I'll make peace with it. And so you get to Odysseus, who's like, I'll do it. And everyone, of course, laughs. And I'm like, ha ha, this beggar. Ha ha, what can he do? And then he just comes in, does it.
Well,
I'm
no.
like,
I loved it because they tease where he just, I don't. And we're like, oh, look at this guy. He can't do it. And all of a sudden, and they're like, fuck. And you see Pattinson's face, like, uh-oh.
And then he just shoots the arrow, and then it cuts to Leguizamo going, Odysseus? And just, again, that's where the action happens, where he just like murks everyone in that room. In the most, I guess it's weird to say realistic, but like it seemed more practical, where it wasn't like John Wick, where like you had like those like, those pauses or slow-mo, whatever. Like he was just standing there like in a circle going, and I'm like, that seems more plausible than just like
right,
like just standing there in the middle of like a room with like 5,000 people. And so that was fucking intense. That was awesome. And the whole time, Pattinson just being a complete bitch is just like, throw something at him, throw this at him,
get the weapons.
Again, he's just such a fucking weasel and a pussy. And you're like, oh my god, not only are you a weasel, but you're a pussy. You can't fucking fight for shit. And obviously, again, going back to Corey Hawkins, he got his when he was like Odysseus, and then he got shot in the neck. Well, I'm like, yeah, that was for the dog. Fuck you, Dr.
Yeah.
And then of course you get to I want to keep saying their names right, and Atanis, where Odysseus has the reveal of like, I found this from such and such, from Sinnoh. Because in the past you were trying to get on my team, essentially you're trying to come with me, but you switched places, but it didn't work, so I took Sinon. And this is basically for you, motherfucker. And then he like puts it in his mouth and makes him swallow it, and then he stabs him. I'm like, would have wanted a more badass death, but this isn't Tarantino, so we're not gonna get that. Right. But it was satisfying enough. I'm like, yeah, get it, fuck you. So that's how the movie ends, but then, or it doesn't end yet. Like Damon gets his ass beat, and it looks like he's dead, but he's not.
I know. So I was like, oh, please don't do a death scene.
It cuts to the end where the family is pretty much on the boat together, and they're riding off into the sunset. So yeah, that's the end. That's Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Beautiful, wonderful film.
10 out of 10 for me. Actually, no, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10.
I would say a 9.3 out of 10. Any criticisms I had were just very small. I thought the pacing was a little off at some points. Like there was a point where I did feel some drag, but it's kind of the same way it felt about Oppenheimer, where I'm like, did it need to be 3 hours? And then I was like, well, it did need to be 3 hours because we need to tell this story.
Yeah.
But it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. So everybody needed a story. Like if you put a gun to my head and like ask me what I wanted, I'd be like, maybe like 10 extra minutes shaved off.
Right.
You know, that's just me. But I mean, I love the movie. I wasn't bored. I mean, I felt drag, but you know, feeling drag and boredom are two different things.
Yep.
I kind of felt more boredom with Oppenheimer. But this movie, I was never bored. My interest was always, you know, my interest was always peaked. I was engaged. I loved the characters. I loved literally everything about it. And then just some other things I mentioned that were criticisms, but again, just very small, minute things that prevents this from being a perfect 10 out of 10, but it's still an A. It's still an A in any college or high school or middle school you go to.
Yeah.
So it's a passing grade. It's a passing
definitely grade. Something to see in IMAX if you can. Definitely a great theater experience. And by golly, I can't. The more I read about all the practical effects that they did in this freaking movie, from building the Trojan horse to, today I read that the whole where he basically went to hell to figure out where he needs to go home, and then you see the dead rise out of the mud. That was fucking real. Like Matt Damon explained that the stunt people actually had straws and they had timers to make sure they weren't down below the ground long enough. They were sitting there having to breathe to do these cuts where they have to sit there and rise out of the dirt. And then another great thing hearing is the cast up when they're getting ready to open up the doors of Troy, and you have this great shot of when they open it and I want to say Eggman, but I can't pronounce the name right. Agdamon. He's right.
Guy.
Yes. Benny Safdie. That's what I'll say. Yeah. It's just standing there, and then you see the hordes of people come in. Matt Damon said the cast of them didn't realize 500 extras were going to come running through. I think it was that massive of a cast. It's like, so all those people were there. I still don't know quite how they did the giant scene where they went to that confusing forest and then the giants in the steel outfits. I would love to see how they shot that. But yeah, I just can't get over the practical effects. Love the cinematography, the score. Everybody was great. The main reason I gave it a 9 out of 10 because it felt like the first 15, 20 minutes I was having a tough time really getting into. But then once I got past that initial slump, everything else after that, like it kept my attention. And when I think my attention was going to kind of falter, something else came in and picked my attention. I was like, oh, I'm right back in. So little that. And thing is, I will watch this again, but it's not something I have to watch immediately again. Like if something's going to be 10 out of 10, it's something like we talked about The Prestige. When The Prestige came out, I saw it. I went right back in the theater and I saw it again. Because
a movie like that is easier to kind of get into. Like Odyssey, I would love to see it again. But that's one of those things where it's like, I need time.
Yeah, I need another 3 hours.
You know, as weird as this to say, Obsession is a movie I can maybe watch again.
Yes.
Even though it's a little bit of a, you know, it's kind of depressing in some ways, but like it's still a film I can enjoy. Like I like seeing people react to it. I like watching reaction videos and like people reacting to Obsession and kind of seeing their own, you know, point of views from how they feel about it. But yeah, same thing with Odyssey. Where like I would love to see it again, but I need time. I need time to kind of simmer. But another thing I noticed, someone kind of brought this up about Nolan, which is one of his like weaknesses. His like this weird thing he does with sound, where like all of a sudden in a random scene, like this, like the score is like really fucking loud, where it's like unnecessarily loud to where you can't hear anybody talk.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know why he does it. That's just weird. But I think it's just something that he just does that we kind of have to get used to if we don't like it. But that's the Odyssey.